I'd like to call to order the Hatfield Township Board of Commissioners Workshop Meeting for October 12, 2022. Roll call.
President Zipfel.
Here.
Vice President Rogers. Commissioner Andrus.
Here.
Commissioner Lees.
Here.
Commissioner Zimmerman.
So I'd like to begin tonight with the Pledge of Allegiance, as we always do. However, we have some special guests with us this evening who are going to lead us. And when we get to that part of the meeting, we are going to more thoroughly introduce them and why they are here. But Carmina Taylor, who's with North Penn School District, involved with the North Penn School District with a program called Cultural Proficiency and Equity Student Ambassadors Program, and three of her members of that ambassador program, Jordanis Lemma, Jared Robinson, and Andrew Reed, if you would all lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this evening.
Flag of the United States of America, the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, justice for all.
Well done. We do that I mentioned to them before the meeting, we do that for special guests, not only so that we have an opportunity to introduce them at the beginning of the meeting, but it kind of sets the stage for the substantive reason that they're here, which is very exciting, and we'll get to that in a few minutes. So a couple of housekeeping items. First, do we have a motion for approval of tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Second by Commissioner Lees, second by Commissioner Andrus. I think we're going to hear a lot of that tonight. All in favor of approving tonight's agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we can move forward with the agenda before us. Any citizens' comments on agenda items? All right, no citizens' comments. We're going to move right to our consent items. Is there a motion to move into the record the consent items that are listed in your agenda?
So moved. Second.
By Commissioner Andrus, second by Commissioner Lees. Those items include the HTMA meeting minutes of August 9 and 16, the North Penn Water Authority meeting minutes of July 26 and August 23, the VMSC monthly report for the month of September, the Hatfield Police report for the month of September, and the HTMA monthly budget report for the month of August. With that, I'll call the question. All in favor of moving those into the record, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved, and bless you. All right. So we are going to move our presentation by the Montgomery County Cultural Proficiency and Equity Student Ambassadors Initiative to the beginning. You'll go first, if that's okay. No offense to Boyle Construction. So let me do a little introduction. So we are very excited to have you here. We've been talking about it for the last couple of days. Carmina Taylor is here tonight to talk about the great program that she's involved with through North Penn School District, again, called Cultural Proficiency and Equity Student Ambassador Program. Carmina was introduced to the township a few years ago when she helped us work through some sensitive issues at the Aquatic Center, for which we are very helpful. She worked closely with the township manager, Aaron, and Chief Tierney, and helped turn a negative situation in our community into an opportunity to build better relationships and to provide some training for our staff. We understand that she recently won an award.
And yes, and that's why I'm going to start off and talk about that. But if
That
you
is
want to
great.
continue.
Oh, yeah, no, just a little bit more. I mean, we did our homework. We understand we recently won an award at the White House for these efforts. And that you're here tonight, obviously, to discuss with the three North Penn students that we already introduced. We're excited to see you and the students. With that, the floor is yours.
So good evening, everyone. I wanted to start off with the first slide. I'm a lifelong resident of Montgomery County, and we're here tonight because of my affiliations with those three icons up there. I have a countywide group called the Movement for Black and Brown Lives. I have a statewide organization called We Can't Wait, and I'm also a Civic Saturday Fellow. And because of all the work that I did across in Pennsylvania, unbeknownst to me, on September 15th, I was nominated as a National Local Hero Uniter for the United We Stand Summit. Can you go to the next one? That's why I'm here. So the White House is breathtaking. And when we were coming into the White House, they had this big stand there. And one of the things that came out of that experience, the whole message through the night was, when one of us is harmed, all of us is harmed. And it really carried on throughout the day. So the reason why there was a United We Stand summit, civil rights leaders across the country asked the president to hold a summit against hate and race behind the Buffalo shooting. And so there was all these leaders that came together, and I ended up being one of 16 across the country, the only one from Pennsylvania and the only one from the Northeast. So it was an amazing experience. So unbeknownst to me, the White House vetted me. And so when they vetted me and they wrote up my bio, they highlighted, and I wanted to highlight the fact that they dug deep and found out what we did a couple years there in Hatfield. So I just wanted to acknowledge, and that's really why I'm here, because when I left the summit, I said, so now what, right? What else are we going to do behind our call to action? And so I wanted to just acknowledge that this is officially, I think, on the White House, on the press page for the United We Stand Summit. So somebody said if you Google Carmina Taylor White House, this comes up. So I just wanted to show that Hatfield was highlighted there. And so let me go to the next one. So as a result of that, I wanted to just share, if we go to the next slide. This is part of I hate taking pictures. So me sharing this with you is like bananas. But so we ended up getting a letter from the president. The guy right here with the glasses, Eric Liu, he's the, oh, that's right. I'm sorry, the IT guy said that. So the guy right there with me is Eric Liu, and he nominated me. So it's a real funny story. After I had to do all the COVID and the protocols to get into the White House, Pennsylvania Avenue was cut off, so I had to go around to get to the gate where we enter. So I get an email, and Eric says, Carmina, I couldn't tell you till now that I nominated you. So I started screaming and crying, and Secret Service was like, are you okay? Are you okay? So I was like, yes, tears of joy. So after I found out that Eric nominated me, I was walking to the White House, and there he was. I didn't even know he was gonna be there. And then he was talking to the mayor of Oklahoma City. So it was like all these people are like, everybody. So when I went to the White House, I was in the line with E.J. Dionne. Do you know who that is? E.J. Dionne was right in front of me. So I was like just starstruck. So I tried to be really cool throughout the day. But this is some highlights. So the only thing that I really folded on was Macy Hirono. Does everybody know who Macy is? So when I saw Macy, I was like, I love you. And she was like, you do? And I was like, oh my God, yes. So that's Macy. And then down here at the bottom, one of the panels were all of the heads of federal departments. So that's Merrick Garland, and that's the guy from DHS. And they had announced billions of dollars that are going to be invested against hate in the United States under DHS and under the Department of Education. This is just one of the prompt things that was there. And there's me at the top when I was with some of the other people that were awarded. So the whole point of reason why I'm here is because I found out what Aaron was doing with the staff behind our incident, behind the incident at the pool. And ironically enough, for the last 4 years, I've been the consultant for the Cultural Proficiency and Race and Equity Student Ambassadors Program. Aaron, can you go to the next one? Okay. So for the last 4 years, and we started out with 4 school districts. North Penn was 1, Cheltenham, Norristown, and Upper Dublin were the first 4. And we launched it right before COVID. And so once COVID hit, we had to do hybrid and makeshift and all of those things. And then in the spring of 21, we added 4 more school districts, Upper Moreland, Lower Moreland, Abington, and Hatboro Horsham. So now the Student Ambassadors Program are 8 schools, but North Penn is the anchor. And then earlier this year, I was awarded a $30,000 grant from the V&A Foundation of Greater North Penn, with North Penn again being the anchor school district, to do a study on the mental impact of racial trauma. So I created a parent dialogue network of parents from Wissahickon, Solderton, and North Penn. So all of this comes down to where we are today. So the student ambassadors for the last year had, they surveyed the students at North Penn about belonging. We have a survey program that's out of the University of Pennsylvania, and they did a survey. And they were to analyze the data and then decide what kind of action research project they wanted to do. We afforded the students an opportunity in June to present to the PA Senate Committee, the policy committee in the Senate. They had a hearing for our kids at Norristown. Harrisburg came to us. And one of the seniors from North Penn last year presented. And as a result of that, the students have decided that they are going to do a project related to No Place for Hate. And so what I came here today is to say, as the students are working on their project in the school system, we want to ultimately partner up with your township so we can ultimately have potentially a community gathering or something where they present their project and feedback to the community, but you guys as a township host it. And just luckily enough, 2 of the leaders of the North Penn Student Ambassadors are Hatfield residents, so it's like a 3-for-1. So I wanted to talk about how we would be working and collaborating in partnership together. Can we have the next one?
Your phone, Carmina.
Oh.
That's right. I didn't think you'd have that song.
I was. Okay. Can we see the next slide? Okay. So the students are going to get up and talk about what they're doing locally, and then I'm going to close it up. Okay. So Jordanis is going to get up and talk about the first part. Jared's going to get up and talk about the second, and then Andrew's going to talk about the third. Are you guys good? Are you excited?
No, that's
So do you see
great.
how it's all coming to fruition?
Absolutely.
I started here, went to the White House, I'm back, we're working with the youth, and then by the spring, we'll do something for the community, and you guys will host it. We'll hope to host it.
Yep, no, this is great.
Okay?
This is
So
great.
go ahead, Jordanis.
And Jordanis is one of the 2 Hatfield residents.
Hi everyone, my name is Jordanos Lema. I'm a current North Penn junior, and today I'm going to talk about our No Place for Hate initiative. So this is going to be a project that's going to initiate our No Place for Hate chapter in our school, and we have this official pledge that we're going to showcase around the school, and we're going to have these hands that are going to be printed out, and students can sign their name under the pledge, and we're going to post these hands all over our cafeteria, so then we can really show that we're becoming a No Place for Hate school. And at our recent meeting, we talked about these 2 projects that we're going to be starting, and they're all going to be centered around our belonging survey and our pledge. And I'm going to read the pledge to you right now. I will seek to gain understanding of those who are different from me. I will speak out against prejudice and discrimination. I will reach out to support those who are targets of hate. I will promote respect for the people and help foster a prejudice-free school. I believe that one person can make a difference. No person can be an innocent bystander when it comes to opposing hate. And finally, I can recognize that respecting individual dignity and promoting intergroup harmony are the responsibility of all students. Next, we're going to have Jared talking about one of our No Place for Hate projects that we're going to be starting in the next couple weeks.
Jared is also a Hatfield resident and
Met
plays
Jared-
lacrosse.
I met Jared yesterday. I'm sure he's extremely excited about this.
Hi, I'm Jared Robinson. I'm also a junior at North Penn High School, and I'm the co-team leader of the Cultural Proficiency and Equity Club, or Student Ambassador Club. So one of the projects that we decided on was the Making the Invisible Visible, which will basically, we will lead a discussion on video chat about the ways that marginalized students have been invisible, pretty much. So we'll partner with North Penn TV at our school, and we'll take maybe 5 to 10 students and create a bunch of questions, and we'll ask them a bunch of questions, and then we'll take those questions and their answers, and we'll hope to make a better change. And Angie will explain the next project.
My name's Andrew Reed. I'm a junior at North Penn High School, and I'm going to be talking about our Humans of North Penn project. We will also be partnering with North Penn TV on this project as well, and we'll be asking students like surface level questions on their belonging, inclusion, and aspects of their identity during lunch periods. And then our interviews will encourage students to talk about their experiences and identity issues that they've had. And we'll put it together on a little clip for North Penn TV or in a video for nighttime teachers to show. And nighttime is a period in the beginning of the day that all students have at the same time, so all students will be seeing the video.
Very nice, well done.
So the beauty in all of this is that as they're working with it, and I know that the chief was there yesterday, we wanted Aaron and the chief to meet the students and meet the student ambassadors. Aaron couldn't make it, but the chief was there, and when Jordanis was talking about the hands, the pledge of hands, chief came up with a fabulous idea to yes, Chief came up with a fabulous idea to involve his officers in that. So what we're going to do, not only he volunteered a few officers to help the kids cut out the hands for the pledges, but we're also going to extend the pledge to the police officers from Hatfield and all the other ones from the North Penn School District. So when they put the hands up in the school, it will also be the police departments from the 5, right? There's 5 police departments from the school district. So this is going to be the entrance to our collaboration and partnership with you guys. And so what I'm hoping to do is, as the kids are developing the project outcomes, that we will be working with Aaron and Chief Tierney to develop how we can present this to the community education process for the larger picture. And I think it really aligns very well with what Aaron was doing with the staff. And all of this, I'm taking back to the White House. We are going to possibly meet in the spring. They're going to allow us to showcase what we did when we went back home. That was planted here to show as a national model what we can do collaboratively after. Yes, so do you have any questions or comments? I think as the kids get to actually engage, and the chief knows that have been so and that's not pandering to him. That's like, I truly love him. And the reason why is because from the very beginning, you know, he always said that when we had meetings, like, he's the only chief that doesn't come in uniform, and that's because he wanted to show people that he's accessible, and it's not just about being law enforcement versus you know, just the uniform behind the person. And then I have asked the chief, I think the chief has come 3 times. Under my countywide group, I had barbershop conversations with law enforcement officials to give us their philosophy and their approach about how they police. And he really brings a human side to policing, and he's very thoughtful. And for me, in my experience, I have not met one chief that's been that distinguishable. I know Ben Dig is going to be mad, but Ben Dig is nice too. But I just think that I just think that just his whole approach to engaging people, and he backs up what he says. And I just think it's like a perfect alignment for us to work with the police department, to work with Aaron, to work with the students. The 2 leaders are from Hatfield. We can't ask for a better kind of mixture. And then to bring it back into the community. And these are all steps that we can do to combat hate. And I think that what we need to do through this process is be so positive that we present the perils in a way that everyone can embrace it. And I think that's the whole point, and that's why I was here today, to approach this idea to you guys and see if you wanted to collaborate and partner with us. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
First,
Chief didn't pay me, by the way.
I was going right in that general direction. We do have the best
You
chief.
really do.
And I'm not even looking at him, because I'm serious for a moment. We have the best chief of police. There's
And
no
the
doubt
best
about it.
township manager.
Oh, and hands down, I say it all the
The
time.
best solicitor.
Yes, It's
We
just a
do.
great team.
We have an absolutely great team, and they run the organization. They run the township, and the commissioners are, we are decision makers and periodic decision makers on, a couple of times per month. They're the ones who really run the organization, and we are remarkably proud of the manner in which they handle themselves on so many different levels and the work that they do. So, well, in all seriousness, absolutely, I agree with you. I think everyone agrees with you. We have the best chief. I think we have the best solicitor as well, and certainly we have the best township
So I'll
manager.
get to know you too.
Having said that, I'll never repeat that because we try and keep Chief's confidence
That's
in
all right.
check.
His head is still in the room.
That's right.
It's still in the
We try and
room.
keep his confidence level in check, and I may have just expanded his
It's
confidence
still
level
here. It could have been out.
The only good thing is we stopped recording about 10 minutes.
Did you really?
Carmina will repeat it if you
No,
like.
no.
I would.
We're
would.
absolutely recording.
Oh, okay.
And all three of you did a fantastic job. I'm very excited to see how the project's going to work
Yes.
out, and very excited to have it here in Hatfield.
Absolutely.
That's a fantastic. I love how you started from the beginning and you brought it back. And hey, we don't mind having the White House hear about little old Hatfield Township every once in a while.
Absolutely. And I think, I've met the other uniters have different reasons why they were nominated. And one of the nominators is Chairman Jordan Dresser from the North Arapaho tribe in Wyoming. And it's just, it's really interesting when you think about tribal issues. Then there was the family in Wyoming where their son had died because of hate. There's some people from Oregon and California, but we are really it's unique that we're a suburb of an affluent county, and we have this opportunity to showcase the best of what we are, and this is it. So, anybody else have any questions, thoughts, concerns? You happy? You excited?
So-
Now, just because you're sitting here, that means that I want you all part of what we're doing when it becomes, the community thing. Just don't shake your head. I'm going to bring you back, and we're all going to be part of it.
So for right now, our next step is to sit tight until you're going to coordinate with
Absolutely,
with
with Aaron
right? Okay.
and Chief. Absolutely,
all
we'll
right.
keep them in touch, and we're going to be working with his police officers, your police officers.
Yep, fantastic.
Say, like, the adults are the facilitators in this thing, but the kids, and I just met these three yesterday, young adults, they're the driving force.
Absolutely.
And just yesterday, I was so impressed by the three of them, by the rest of the people in their class. It's truly.
Great.
I'm very pleased. You guys should really be proud. And then the caveat to all of this is that you have really good leadership at the North Penn School District side between the superintendent and school board members. So it's all a win. It's a win-win.
Great. No, this is all good stuff. Very exciting.
Excellent. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to the partnership and the collaboration. Thank you.
Let's get everybody.
Everybody?
Oh, you guys, go ahead. Go ahead. Yes,
Carmina's big on pictures.
go ahead. I got it.
Else it's like they're killing me.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Tough act to follow. This is important stuff too, so we appreciate your coming out. So let me introduce, Boyle Construction, and they're going to talk to us a little bit about our Hatfield Police Station development and some plans and some conversations we've had. And Boyle, you might remember Boyle Construction because they did a lot of work not only here at this facility, the one we're sitting in, but also at the pool. And so we're very happy to have them come back and kind of introduce us to this process and what this would all possibly look like and kind of really kick off the conversation about what a new police station would look like. So with that, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you very much for having us tonight. I'm Karen Durholtz with Boyle Construction, Vice President of Marketing and Client Relations. And we're here tonight. We had a couple of conversations already with some smaller groups regarding kicking off the project for a new police station. So on the next slide, we have our team. With me tonight is our Executive Vice President, Ken Durholtz. He oversees all of our staff for what we call agency construction management. And you typically think of construction when you start to get the hammers and nails in your hand and do construction. But a construction manager is somebody that starts on the day one when you start thinking about the project. So you make sure you get the proper property, you get the proper finances in place, and you really want to build the team with the construction manager. So that's what we are. We're called agency construction managers. Fortunately, our Tony Gangusa, who a few of you have already met, is our project executive for our agency construction management team, and he had a conflict tonight. He's out of town, so I'm sorry he couldn't be with us, but he would definitely be an integral part of building the team here for Hatfield Township. Christian Donovan is one of our senior project managers, gets into a lot of the details of the project. You have myself, who is here for any type of marketing communications, events, any kind of community involvement with the police station, not just at the end of the day, but possibly throughout the process. And we can talk a little bit more about that. And then, of course, we have some folks in the office that get the really hard work done in organizing the whole team electronically with lots of paperwork and processing. And this becomes really, really important, and Nikki is really crucial when we start talking about multiple funding sources. And I know you have some of those coming into play. So compliance for those multiple funding sources can get a little tricky. She makes sure all of that paperwork and everything is all taken care of. A little bit about our company, Boyle Construction, on the next slide, is we've been around for 45 years. We have about 85% of our projects year to year come from repeat clients, and Hatfield Township, as you already mentioned, we have already had 2 projects within the township that went very well about, I'm trying to think of how many years ago, but it was about 15 years ago, my calculations. And basically, we're more than a construction manager. We're really just an extension of your staff. You can think of that team on the slide before as just an extension of the staff here at the township that basically comes on board, kind of ramps up for that capital project time, and then kind of flexes and is here for every part of the project. If you need more staff, we have more staff. If you need less staff, we have less staff. So kind of guide your project through the process. On the next slide, a couple of slides, we just talk about our experience, the other types of projects we have like this. We have a number of first responder facilities. We have fire stations. We have already completed fire stations, police stations, emergency services for ambulance corps, all types of different types of first responders. So we do understand the kind of process that goes on in an emergency responder type facility. Lots of security going on, lots of different protocols that we have for first responder facilities. One of the ones that we've done recently, and we would be most like this project, is the Warrington Police Station. If anybody's familiar with that, the Warrington Police Station is a very wonderful facility outfitted with the latest technology, and really has a lot of room to grow for their expansion in their township, which is similar to here. Our public facilities projects on the next page, just to say, basically, we get it. We get public facilities, we get public procurement. We've done it in a number of places all up and down the eastern side of Pennsylvania. Public procurement is a little bit tricky, and you deal with prime contractors and lowest bidders and all types of packaging. So it is a little bit of a different animal than anything else that you see out there. So we understand public facilities. We've done a number of them. We can talk about any of them if you have any questions on those. We've done, you see here, we have Bristol, Chalfont, East Vincent, Hatfield, Upper Euclid, all those kind of in recent years, and also close by. On the next slide, we talk about leading the team. And really, this is where kind of the rubber meets the road in the agency construction management. We are the quarterback for the project. So we take the project in our hands, we make sure, along with your staff, we make sure the design team is working together, we make sure the contractors are working together. We really make sure that the whole team is on the same page. We do this by action items, we do this by communication, we come to the board with questions, we come to the staff. So we really try to make sure that everybody is on the same page, moving in the same direction. That's the best way to keep a project on budget and on time. I'll have Ken go over some of our pre-construction services, specifically some of the items that we do.
Sure. I am Ken Durholz with Boyle Construction. I'm an architect by trade and have been working in the construction management field for the better part of 20 years. And Amy, good to see you. Jerry, it's been a while. Gray hair since the last time I was here. Basically, construction management, we kind of provide a pre-construction service, which we believe is where you get the most value, and we spend the better part of a year working on the project before it even gets started. We pride ourselves in doing a thorough job at this. It starts with helping the township solicit proposals from multiple disciplines to get them in place. As some of you know, land development, that process can take the better part of a year to get approvals. So we kind of lead that process and track that on a schedule to make sure all parties are participating and pulling in the right direction. So we'll overlap perhaps the land development, the civil activities, along with the engineering and architectural activities. We'll put a preliminary project budget out that will be tracked until up to the bidding process to make sure the design documents match the budget. We'll identify any areas that may offer risk and try to mitigate it either with allowances or a cleaner design. And then we'll be working with the design professionals on the building, just looking at value engineering, value, constructability. Everyone has a wish list. We kind of compile that and vet it out and see what's going to fit in the budget. And then we'll help out with bidding strategies. And Boyle has a very good relationship for a lot of these projects here. We have contacts of, I'll call them successful prime bidders, and we tend to solicit them to come bid on the project to help fill that in.
Great. The next slide is just a little bit about the budget process. This is a typical budget process in any type of public project that we've worked on. What happens is everybody comes to the table and says, okay, here's our budget. And then they say, okay, here's our wish list. So that starts to, we say, okay, great, we're going to go out and get pricing and all this. And what we do is we get realistic pricing. We don't just go to books or anything. We go to subcontractors, we go to past projects, we go to experienced professionals and say, all right, how much is this really going to cost this component? How much is this HVAC system? How much is this? And we build that process. It kind of ramps up a little bit and we say, all right, we've got to really prioritize what we need. Make sure that we get this on bid day. It's going to come in on budget. So we start to talk about, okay, here's the flooring that we talked about. Here's an alternative flooring. Here's an alternative price for that flooring. So we really dive into the details, whittle things down. So our main goal is that that intersection happens on bid day. What we talk about as the budget is what hits budget. So that's our goal. And then throughout construction, we're just maintaining. This is why Ken said pre-construction is really where all of the hard work happens, and then throughout construction is where we really maintain that budget and make sure that everybody's pulling in the right direction, as well as if there's any kind of discrepancies, we really tighten those bid documents so that anytime the prime contractor comes back and says, hey, this is different, this might be a change, we say, oh, no, you see it right here in the bid docs, we've got this covered. So we want to make sure that we stay on budget throughout the construction projects by minimizing any of those questions. And the next slide, schedule process, very similar in the budget, that we want to make sure that we are taking advantage of the time that we have. We're at about 12 months for pre-construction and about 12 months for construction for a typical project like this. So it's about 24 months of time, and most of that time in the pre-construction, as we talked about, is the land development activities, the NPDS, the PennDOT permits, that type of thing, concurrently while the design is happening. So we make sure that things are we take advantage of our time, take advantage of our efficiencies and the staff that we have to make sure we're getting things done concurrently and make sure that's an efficient process, not only in the pre-con time, but also in the construction time. Let's start over here, but let's make sure we're working here and make sure everything happens as quick as it can. A little bit more about the construction approach.
So as we said, once the documents are complete, they go out to bid. We would de-scope the bidders and make recommendations of award to the municipality. So at that point forward, we're really moving into the construction phase. We're teeing up materials, submittals. We would have a full-time superintendent, and then we would have Christian Donovan chairing meetings and probably weekly. And then any other special meetings that is required for any of the other stakeholders. But basically, we're just tracking the project, we're tracking the schedule, we're tracking the budget. That all becomes deliverable to whoever's involved here, whether it's Aaron or some other committee members. And we're just trying to make sure we finish on time, on budget. If there's changes, whether for unforeseen conditions, we'll vet those, the cost or schedule impact. A lot of times if the project's going well and we're saving money or under budget, there might be something that was on a wish list that we now know we can afford, and we might dovetail that into the project if that makes its way in. And then near the end of the project, we're basically working on commissioning, inspections. A lot of times if you have different funding sources, we're submitting that documentation to satisfy those sources, whether it's invoices or final permits and inspections and that type of thing.
The next page, we just talk a little bit about integrated technology. So we use technology as our friend. We make sure that everybody is on the same page in the field as well as online. So we have subcontractors out in the field at a lot of our jobs. We have our superintendents in the field with iPads with the latest drawings, any changes circled, modified. We use something called Procore software. We use BIM software to do any 3D modeling. The chief wants to walk through the building before the building's actually constructed to kind of check out the design and see what's going on. We do any of those types of modeling as well. We use the typical project. We use a bidding software, but we also utilize whatever the township would use for procurement. We'd work with your staff to help with the township procurement. And then the next slide is just a little bit of, just to show you how we engage with the community on most of our projects. This is a little bit different than you might hear from a typical contractor. Again, we're talking about different things than nails and shovels. We're not as impactful as the community that we just saw, but we do try to do our best.
That's a tough, again, that's a tough
That was a
act to
tough act to follow, right?
Still waiting for the White House invite.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
We have no White House pictures. But we do try to engage the local community, whether it be K-12 students, college students, upcoming architects. This is a picture of is a girls in construction camp. All of these young ladies are with VOTEC, so they're future plumbers, carpenters, electricians. And they have a camp that comes out once a year to one of our job sites to show a site while it's being built. So they can see the electricity in the wall, they can see all of the plumbing going in. So we would love to have those types of opportunities here if the township's open to it. That's just something I coordinate with your staff. This is no extra fees or anything. That's just something that we like to do to make sure that the community is involved in the project. It's a police station, so that's even kind of, I think, more of a reason. It'd be really cool to have kids in there seeing the reinforcement of the jail cells before they actually become jail cells. all different types of opportunities at a police station to show the community kind of what's going on. It could even be just for the staff, for the police and their families, whatever it may be at any stage of the project. We'll make sure that any type of exposure like that would be a safe environment for everybody, and we could hold an event around that. But just a little bit about how we try to engage the community to, it's their building too, kind of thing. And then the last slide is just about what a construction manager brings to the table, that we add values through our kind of methodology. We've been through this before. We've got budget sheets. We've got schedule sheets. We understand how this process works. We can, get this done for the township and for the police. We have expert principals working on the project. So most of you, again, have met Tony. Most of you are very familiar with Ken. Christian Donovan has been in Bucks and Montgomery County, used to have his own contracting firm. So our guys are really very, very experienced, 20, 30 years of experience each in the construction arena. And we lead and manage the entire team. We really just like to feel like an extension of your staff and approach everything as a team collaboration. We're not going to come on site and say, hey, you, get over here. We really say, all right, come on, prime contractors. Now we're all a team. We know we solicited you, you're now all the bidders, now you're part of the team, and let's make this happen for the township and for the police. So, any questions on agency CM, anything about the process, a project like this?
I'll add that Bob Rogers and I, Vice President of the board, we met with one of your representatives previously before you came out this evening, and just to have an initial conversation. Bob is obviously not able to make it this evening, but the two of us felt very comfortable, sufficiently enough, of course, to say, hey, let's have you come out and do a presentation for us about about the organization. Of course, you probably have a great physical resume, if that's conceptually, if you understand what I mean, which is literally the building we're in and the aquatic center for which we're so recognized for. So we're very pleased as a township with those two projects, and so we definitely appreciate your willingness to on this with us. I'll hand the floor over to any other commissioners if they have questions. And then I'll ask you, I don't know if next step, or if,
Do you want to start with questions, Mr. President?
Couple questions.
Good.
So, on your previous projects, change controls, what percentage of change controls you end up having? That might cost, or, you're estimating 10 million, what's your target for percentage changes in the project value?
I mean, our goal is 0 or negative. So that's kind of falls in that risk management category, and that also falls into that the pre-construction. We try to work with the design professionals, find out what the variables are, and if there are some variables, we try to put allowances in for them. We tend to be in the 1-2%. And then when I say negative, if we had $50,000 in for unsuitable soils, sometimes we don't hit $50,000, and there's all those allowances go back to the municipality. Some people take all the money and put it in, and others say, hey, I can add to my Sally port or solar panels or stuff like that. So we try to anticipate it, but that is a goal for us to not have surprises.
So you've done a police building for Warrington. So is that sort of a modular sort of design? So it may not be identical what we do here. Does that experience transfer uniquely to our facility, or does it copy, you add square footage?
So that's a relatively new facility, and it's been apparently well received by multiple police departments, because I know quite a few people have toured it. It wasn't modular. It fit on their site and was designed from scratch. I think it was TKO architect. Is that TKO? It's certainly a nice model, because the size and some of the amenities they have seems to fit a lot of programs. But it's really site specific and what you're looking for. I think that had some some of the nicer finishes we've seen, for sure, yeah.
I'll just add to a second part of that. You mentioned how would that translate. So we did do the Warrington Police Station. Sorry, I'm not up to the. But we also have a number of other projects that were a little bit more modular. I remember we did a public works facility in Palmer Township that was a little more modular. We have a variety of different types of construction that we've done. So it does translate in that the public procurement process is the same. Might be different things that you're procuring, but it does translate. I mean, the pool house is different than a township building is different than, and we just did a emergency training operations facility, police and fire tower up in Carbon County. That was certainly a different type of construction than anything we would do here. So the processes would be the same, but the type of building may be different once we go down the design path. Yeah. Does that answer?
Yeah, one thing to note, I think, would be that you'll find interesting is, and we talked to Tony several times about this, who's going to process. There would be some significant savings if, and our department has already visited the Warrington department, and they like a lot of things about it. But if we'd be able to utilize some of that design, outlined in an email from Tony, the savings that we would realize because of that. So we think there's an advantage to that, and a time advantage as well.
So on the two projects we did here, I know we've had some issues since. So from one project to the next, how do you apply those? Improve the construction phase of the project. I know we had a real problem getting the several months at least. Actual issue was
More than months. We had a fairly sophisticated geothermal HVAC system in this building. Was designed by the architectural firm that did the original design. Had some issues getting zoned properly and getting the units to serve the spaces they were designed to serve. So there were a number of issues. We don't know until we talk to the design professional what sort of system we're going to.
But, I mean,
those lessons are definitely lessons learned.
yeah, I mean, that's a great point. And Mr. Ramey, that was a cutting edge system at the time, highly energy efficient, at least touted. But those are the type of things we'd vet out in pre-construction, like the risk reward for that, right? It's supposed to be energy efficient, and I can't tell you what the savings have been or not, but that is a system that would be atypical, and one would have to pay attention to that, not only in bidding, but we call it the commissioning process to tweak it. And I do understand that it took a while, and I don't know where you're at with it now, but that would be something we would look at before we took a leap to do that again. It's definitely a learning curve on that.
Commissioner Andrus, one of the other things that would not be true with the police building if we oil or any construction manager is that we started the process for this building without a construction manager. Hired the architect and designers separately. They designed the building, and it wasn't until the building was designed and bid packages were ready that we brought Boyle in. So they came in after.
Certainly make sure Chief's office is about 85 degrees year-round, if that's something the commissioners would like.
A retractable roof, so that would be.
Large enough to fit a chair. That's the only thing we're asking.
Got it, chair.
Yep, chair. What is that, 2 by 4, 3 by 2 by 3?
Heard moments ago that I'm the greatest chief in the world.
Yeah.
We're doing this.
Imagine what we would have given you had you not gotten that that compliment.
Sally Port.
That's right.
Mr. President, you asked what is next.
Yeah, what's-
I think we discussed at the committee level that it made sense to have Boyle out tonight, and then in 2 weeks from tonight at the regular meeting, we'll have an agreement from Boyle that the board will consider at that point.
That's great. I think that makes sense. So we'll. It sounds like we might be seeing you 2 weeks from tonight, and we'll take action. That's the meeting where we typically take action items anyway. So,
Yep.
Anybody else have any other questions or comments? No? Okay, well, thank you very much for coming out. We really
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.
All right, we'll see you in a few weeks.
Do you want us to hang around at all? Do you need anything from us?
I
or-
think you should.
Very happy.
You're fine. We understand that it's almost 8:30 on a Wednesday night. Yep, no worries.
Have copies of our presentation.
Yeah, if you could, that would be great. Yeah, I would just, Aaron will hand them out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, we're going to jump right into our committee reports. Next, first is Planning and Zoning Committee, Vice President Rogers. He's not here. Is there anything to report? No report on that. Second, Public Works Committee, Commissioner Lees.
Thank you, Mr. President. We finally have a firm date on the paving project for this year. Glasgow, the low bidder on the contract this year, is expected to begin paving roads on October 24th. Our team will notify the neighborhoods ahead of time. Just a reminder that the roads that we are paving are Winston, Werner, Elm, Dogwood, Rose, Gum, Coffle, MacArthur, and Davis. We're also in the process of gathering prices for the annual leaf pickup program. The dates for the program will be the weeks of November 14th, 18th, and December 12th. Remember to put out your leaves in a biodegradable bag on the Monday of that week to make sure you don't miss the truck. Next week, the board will award the contract to the most competitive bidder. That's all I have, Mr. President.
All right, road work, good, that's good stuff. Going to jump right into Park and Recreation Committee. We just have one announcement that we want to make public, that we want everyone to hear, remind them about, is that on Friday, October 21st, we're going to have our Mini Monster Mania. Again, that's Friday, October 21st is our Mini Monster Mania from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock at School Road Park, and it's going to be a movie in the park. That will be Hocus Pocus, very popular movie. I didn't know that until just recently. They have a second one that just came out. See, I'm up on these things now. Yep. Snacks and light refreshments, crafts, games, music for kids and adults, trick-or-treating with local businesses, pumpkin patch and pumpkin decorating, and we're asking everyone to wear their favorite Halloween costume. Most people will come as the chief of police. And again, so Friday, October 21st, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., School Road Park, Mini Monster Mania. Show up with your Chief Tierney mask.
Frightening.
Do we have those to hand out?
Scarefest?
Certainly accommodate.
I'm doing my
those who
best. I'm really doing.
want them, and I'm sure the line will be long.
I'm doing my best to tamp down those, that confidence level after all the great compliments you received earlier. Next is Public Safety Committee. A couple of, oh boy, there's even more chief praise and applauding about to happen. So this past Saturday was our Junior Police Academy, which was, I saw the pictures, it looked very well attended, was great. It was held at School Road Park. More than 20 children interacted with police officers from the local area as well as the Philadelphia Police Department. Great time was had by all, and hopefully we found some future officers in the township. That would be great. Yesterday, Chief Tierney mentioned it a little bit earlier when we were talking to the young North Penn students. He was welcomed by students at North Penn High School as a part of the North Penn Cultural Proficiency and Equity Student Ambassadors Program, which was earlier today. They met to plan a project called No Place for Hate, which we heard about. And these youth ambassadors are working with their school to unite students across the district to create a fair and equitable environment for all. And Bill, I know that you, Chief, you go to a lot of different workshops and efforts and meetings and whatnot. And I know that you were very excited to go to this one, and I was really excited to see that you knew the students, they knew you, and they thought very well of not just you, but also the township because of your interaction with them. So on behalf of the township, thank you for that, really. Officers are going to be on hand at the Black Business Association's Oktoberfest event this Friday from 5 to 9. Again, that's from this Friday, 5 to 9. It'll be held at Plains Mennonite Church on Orvilla Road. There'll be music, fun, food, of course, and it's going to be some great community interaction, so the community is invited. Friday from 5 to 8, it is the Black Business Association's Oktoberfest event at Plains Mennonite Church. Okay, Finance Committee, Commissioner Andrus.
Not quite as exciting, but next week, October 19th at 6 p.m. in this room, there will be a public goals and budget workshop for 2023. The first draft of the budget shows no tax increase for Hatfield residents and businesses for the 9th straight year. It also includes several visible projects and an upgrade to many of the services we provide. Come out and join our discussion next week, next Wednesday, the 19th at 6 p.m.
All right, you're going to jump into the Township Manager's Report.
President, nothing tonight. I think we had enough presentations, and next week I will be talking much more than any of you probably would like to hear, but we'll be busy next week at the budget workshop.
How many slides?
Next week, a lot of handouts, and then I will have about 400 slides for the following month in November.
Awesome.
For everyone to enjoy.
So you've cut it down from last year. Thank
Yes,
you.
I have.
Appreciate it.
It'll be half the length. Solicitor's Report.
All is well.
Always good to hear from our solicitor, those very reassuring words. Citizens' comments, any citizens' comments? All right, well, seeing none, hearing none, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Is there a motion, is there such a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Andrews?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Lees. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we're adjourned. Thanks for coming out, folks.